Okay, so we've got to do the second review for exam 3, 105. Here we go. Let's widen the page a little bit. Let's get our pencil and we can get started soon. First, I would like to move the paper up. I meant down, actually. Okay. And now let's get started. Okay, exam 3, review, B. It's the second one, 105. All right, so here's our point. I'm going to put number 1 on this page. We've got to take care of some problem that looks a little strange. It really just means evaluate, but it looks pretty strange. They're going to put some fancy words in there for one thing. Find the difference quotient. Don't worry about this fancy vocabulary. You don't have to memorize it. And they tell you what the difference quotient is. It is, let me put it over here, in the middle, I guess, sort of towards the middle. F of x plus h minus f of x over h. And they're going to give you a function. What's the function? F of x is equal to 4x squared plus 4x. Okay, that's pretty much how the problem looks. Okay, so now here's how to get started. Let me move it a little bit over here. What we need to do is take this exact function, 4x squared plus 4x, right over here. Let me underline it. That's going to be our guide. And put instead of x, replace it with x plus h. So what is it going to look like? Instead of 4x squared, I'm going to write 4x plus h squared. 4x squared turns into 4x plus h squared, plus, on top of that, 4 times x plus h. Wherever we see h, wherever we see h in there, wherever we see x in there, it has turned into x plus h. That's what you're seeing here. Then comes the minus. Where's that minus come from? Over here. So I followed the guidelines for this. Then now minus f of x. What's f of x? This is right here is f of x. So minus parentheses, put that parentheses there or there's trouble. Please put that parentheses there. Minus the whole thing, 4x squared plus 4x, end of parentheses. All of this divided by h. Okay, now that's how to get started. Now let me go over to scrap paper. Here I need to go over to the left-hand side where I have some room, scrap paper. I want to cordon this off so there's no confusion about the main problem and what I'm doing here on scrap paper. And what do I get? What do I want to do on scrap paper? Here's what you might not be used to. X plus h squared. X plus h squared. So let's do that on scrap paper. What's x plus h squared? X plus h squared is x plus h times x plus h, right? Squared just means 2 copies, multiply. X plus h squared. FOIL, right? Just do the old-fashioned FOIL. X times x, x squared. X times h, xh. Now, here's the trick. What does this say? Inside times inside. H times x. Don't write hx. Write another copy of xh. hx and xh are one and the same. But put it in order. It'll be much less confusing. You'll realize that you can add those two together. And last times last, h times h is h squared. Okay, hold on. Let me get hold of my scrap paper here. Get this done straight. Plus h squared. Okay, what does that turn into? X squared plus 2xh, there's two of them up there, I combine them, combined like terms, plus h squared. That's what x plus h times x plus h is. That's scrap paper work. Scrap paper is over. Back to the main event here. So now, copy this. We're going to have to simplify. What the other thing that'll say on your I forgot to say that the other thing that'll say on your paper probably is simplify as much as possible. Okay, so that's what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to simplify as much as possible. Let me move this up again. Hold on. 1 second. Move this up. Move up, please. Get hard to get this thing to listen, but we're going to try to get it to listen. There we go. Okay, here's where you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so what is x plus h squared? We worked it out on scrap paper. X plus h squared is the same thing as x squared plus 2xh plus h squared, right? That's what x squared, that we figured that out on scrap paper. So I need to multiply that 4 times. 4 times is in front of that. Now, what's next over here? What's 4 times x? 4x, right? 4 times x is 4x. What's 4 times h? 4 times h is 4h. Okay, what's minus 4x squared? Minus 4x squared. This is not cooperating so well right now for some reason. Minus 4x squared is minus 4x squared, obviously. And minus 4x is minus 4x. All of that over h. Okay, here we go. 4 times x squared is 4x squared. 4x squared. 4 times 2xh is 8xh. And 4 times h squared is 4h squared. Okay, plus 4x plus 4h, I'm just rewriting them, minus 4x squared minus 4x over what? Over h. Okay, now let's look what we can cancel. 4x squared, does that have some match here? Yes, minus 4x. They actually cancel each other out. They're like terms, but they're gone. What about 4x and minus 4x? They also cancel each other out. That works out well. Okay, now, did I make a mistake here? What do I have here? This should be 4h squared. Where is that? 4h squared. Wait a second. Where is 4h squared? Here's 4h squared. That's good. And where is... Cancel those two out. Oh, okay. So what do we have left going? We have 8xh plus 4h squared plus 4h over h. All of those are divisible by h. Okay, this h goes, so we get 8x. This 4h squared over h is going to be 4h. 4h. And 4h divided by h is going to be 4. There's one last thing you can do here, and that is bring out the entire 4, because 4 goes into all 4 of them. So we can have 4 times 2x plus h plus 1. And there's nothing more we can simplify. That's it.